Can Alabama win without the pineapple? Without Tua Tabagabaga? They take on Arkansas this coming up weekend. Can LSU stay undefeated at home against the Barn? And which team out of South Carolina and Tennessee can keep their slim bowl hopes alive with a win this weekend? We're going to talk about all those games and every other game coming up in the SEC in Week 9 of the 2019 college football season in today's video, which starts right now.
We about to turn it on.
Hey, good morning, and that's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right. It's me, Uncle Lou, and I'm live for you on LouTube today. So thanks for watching. Man, I sure do appreciate it. Also, in addition to that as well, subscribe to this channel if you're not already. I post college football videos almost every single day of the year, and sometimes they're even watchable. I'm not sure about this one. You'll have to let me know. We're going to preview all the SEC games in today's video. We do this video every Tuesday. On Wednesday, I do the same thing, but with all the top 25 teams. And then on Thursday, I do a third preview and prediction video covering all the teams that are interesting to me for one reason or another that didn't fit into the Tuesday or the Wednesday video. As usual, all the numbers that I use in today's video, all the odds, point spreads, money lines, over-unders, all those sorts of things, come straight from the website over at betnow.eu. This is the second year in a row I've been lucky enough to work with the good people over at betnow.eu. And this is the second year in a row they've given me a code to hook you guys up. There's a link in the description of this video. If you click that link, it'll take you over to betnow.eu and you can get yourself signed up. When you do, enter the promo code Uncle Lou. That's one word, all lowercase letters, Uncle Lou, and they're going to give you a 100% bonus on whatever you deposit. So you put $100 in there, 200 shows up in your account. You put 500 in there, 1,000 shows up in your account. You guys get the idea. From reading through the comments on this channel for the last 3 or 4 years, I've come to the realization that the vast, overwhelming majority of you are college football experts. It's obvious from the comments that you leave me all the time. Why not put that expertise to work for you? Let it make you some money. Join up on betnow.eu, gamble on some of these games, and earn yourself some money. Let's go. All right, don't forget the live show tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's a call-in show that I do every Tuesday and Thursday night here on the channel at 10 p.m. Eastern. We also do it on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern. I put College Game Day and SEC Nation on the TV out here, take phone calls from you guys, and we talk about all today's games. Same sort of thing on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, take calls from all over. If you haven't joined us on one of those live shows, make sure you check it out. It's a whole lot of fun. And don't forget, we just started the morning show. It started on Monday. If any of you are wondering what happened to the Monday morning show video, of course, I did it live. It went pretty good. A lot of you guys joined in. We had about 400 people watching. I accidentally deleted it. I was trying to do 5 different things out here at one time on the computer, and I was playing with my phone at the same time, and I accidentally deleted episode 1, the first ever episode of the morning show with Uncle Lou. I was so pissed. I think it's the only time this ever happened. I don't think I've ever deleted another video off of this channel. I was so irritated. But anyway, if you're wondering what happened to the Monday morning video, that's what happened. So tonight, 10 o'clock, the call-in show. Tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, 8 a.m., episode 2 of the morning show with Uncle Lou. All right, let's talk about these games. All right, up first, you got Mississippi State on the road at Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a 10.5-point home favorite in this one. This one comes on noon over on the SEC network. Mississippi State and Texas A&M, probably the 2 most disappointing teams in the SEC West, right? Maybe the 2 most disappointing teams in the entire SEC. I know there are worse teams in the SEC than Mississippi State and Texas A&M, but I'm not sure if there are 2 teams that had higher expectations that have not lived up to those expectations as much as Mississippi State and Texas A&M. Now, Texas A&M, of course, has had a brutal schedule. So the disappointment with Texas A&M isn't a reflection so much of their record, but how they've looked, particularly on offense. They had Kellen Mond coming back, one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the SEC. He's been inconsistent in previous years. Some games looked like an All-American. Other games looked like he'd never seen a football before. And unfortunately for Texas A&M, that's been the case again this season. He's had some games where he played really, really well, and he's had some other games where he just didn't show up at all. Injuries have hurt Texas A&M too to starting running back after already losing Travion Williams from last year to the NFL. So they have had some injury issues on offense, but let's be kind of real about. I mean, we hate injuries. No one likes injuries, but we're almost at the end of October. Almost every single team in America is dealing with some kind of injury somewhere in one form or another. So, you have 85 scholarships for a reason. So I don't think that's a complete reason or excuse for Texas A&M's offense. Mississippi State, on the other hand, I don't like this Joe Moorhead. It's no secret, really. I don't think he's head coach material, particularly in the SEC. I've been saying this since the offseason. I caught a lot of flack from it from Mississippi State fans, and lo and behold, what are we hearing now? Joe Moorhead is looking to get out of Starkville. His name has popped up in relation to the Rutgers job, which of course is open after they fired Chris Ash. Is that who it was? 3 or 4 weeks into the season. So not sure how long Joe Moorhead's going to survive in Mississippi State. I guess it's possible this is his last season. We'll just have to wait and see. But both these teams have been kind of disappointing. 10.5 seems like a lot to me to lay for Texas A&M. I know they're at home, and like I said, Mississippi State has been kind of disappointing, but so has Texas A&M, right? Which Texas A&M offense is going to show up? Is Kellen Mond going to show up and have one of those games where you go, oh my God, this guy's pretty good? Or is he going to have one of those games where he shows up and you go, how is this guy even starting? I don't know, but 10.5 seems like too much to me. I'm going to take the visiting team here. Give me Mississippi State and those 10.5 points. All right, the CBS game of the week, 3:30 over on CBS. The Battle of the Tigers. Or is it the Battle of the Tigers? It's definitely the LSU Tigers. Or is it the Bayou Bengals? Or is it the Corn Dogs? Maybe it's not the Battle of the Tigers. It's definitely the Auburn Tigers, though. Or is it? Is it the Auburn War Eagles? Is it the Auburn Plainsmen? Is it the Barners? Let's just call it the Barners versus the Corn Dogs. But this is the game of the week in the SEC. Auburn, of course, sitting on just the one loss, which came on the road a few weeks back to Florida. LSU, of course, still undefeated with that big matchup against Alabama looming a couple of weeks down the road. LSU, and really any college football fan, I think, wants LSU to win this game. Don't you want to see an undefeated LSU versus Alabama? I do. It's got nothing to do with hate for Auburn or love for LSU or whatever. I sort of want LSU to win this game. I want, when that LSU-Bama game comes around, I'm hoping to see two undefeated teams go at it. I think that'll be a great game. And, of course, it just got a whole lot more intriguing, that LSU-Alabama game, now that we know Tua Tagovailoa is hurt. And may not be back for that game. I'm hearing he could be out for as long as 25 to 30 days. If that's the case, he'll be struggling to get back by the Iron Bowl. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I hope he comes back. You see a great game like that, you want both teams to have all their players. So hopefully he comes back. We'll keep an eye on that, but that's for a couple of weeks down the road. We'll talk about Auburn at LSU today. Auburn's going to have to find a way to get some offense in this game. Now, LSU does not have the defense, at least not statistically, that we're used to seeing from LSU over the last few years. But they're more than making up for that with what they're doing on the offensive side of the ball. Joe Burrow is a legitimate Heisman candidate at this point. He's putting up absolutely ridiculous numbers. He's going to end up breaking all kinds of LSU passing records and touchdown records and yardage records without question. It's absolutely unbelievable, the transformation that LSU's offense has made in one offseason. The knock on LSU the last 6, 7, 8 years really has been, okay, they got a really good defense. They've got NFL running backs. They have NFL skill position players. They have game-managing QBs, and they can't score any points against elite teams. That's been the story of LSU, like I said, for the last 6, 7, or 8 years. In one offseason, they have totally redesigned and revamped that offense, and it looks absolutely unstoppable at times. It looks a lot like an Oklahoma-type offense, an Ohio State type of offense, an Alabama type of offense. It has looked really, really good. Now, their defense has struggled at times, giving up a lot of yards and points to multiple teams. Vandy, Florida, of course, Texas scored a bunch of points on them. But they've been able to outscore every single team they've played. When you look at Auburn, a really good defense, especially the front four, the front seven even at Auburn. Very similar to Florida in that respect, I think. I think Auburn and Florida have very similar defenses. I think Florida is a little bit better in the secondary. I think Auburn is probably just a little bit better on the defensive line, but Florida is really good on the defensive line too. But the point is, both Auburn and Florida both have really, really good defenses, and Florida could barely even slow down LSU. It seemed like they scored every time they got the ball. Of course, LSU ended up winning that game. What was it 42-28, something like that? They won by 2 touchdowns. I expect a similar result in this game here. Again, LSU catches a break here, getting Auburn at home. That's huge. It's very hard to win at LSU, even for teams in the SEC West who are used to playing there every other year, like Auburn is. I just don't trust Auburn offensively at this point. They've really only had one game all year where the offense looked anything close to dangerous, and that was the Mississippi State game. And, of course, we talked about Mississippi State earlier and how disappointing they've been. I mean, they lost to Tennessee, for Christ's sake. Let's not act like Mississippi State is some great team. So beating them, not exactly a huge accomplishment. But, of course, Auburn brings Bo Nix in, first-year quarterback here, true freshman. He's looked okay at times. He's looked like a true freshman at times. Of course, he played really, really bad in that Florida game. Again, Florida has a really good defense, though. I think Florida's defense is probably a little bit better than LSU's. So I don't think Bo Nix will struggle as much against LSU as he did against Florida, but I still think he'll struggle some, and I just don't think Auburn offensively can keep up with LSU in this game. You don't have to worry about LSU looking past this game or anything like that. I believe they have an off week next week before playing Alabama anyway. If they play in Alabama next week, maybe you get a little nervous about this game. I'm not. I think the home team Tigers win this one by more than 10.5. Give me LSU. Lay those points. South Carolina at Tennessee, 4 o'clock on the SEC Network. And South Carolina is actually a 4-point road favorite in this one. And I like South Carolina here. Tennessee got beat up last week against Alabama, some injuries. The quarterback situation at Tennessee is a terrible one, to say the least. Not because all the quarterbacks are well, let me just explain. Marr, of course, I'm assuming Marr is going to be out for this game. If he's not out for this game, Jeremy Pruitt should be arrested and thrown in jail for criminal misconduct. He shouldn't have played last week against Alabama. Those of you that don't know, Marr suffered a concussion 2 weeks ago in the Mississippi State game. Played for 3 or 4 plays before they took him out, right? And Guantanamo Bay finished the Mississippi State game, which, of course, Tennessee won. The following week, they cleared Marr to play against Alabama. So he comes in 1 week off of a concussion, and what happens? He suffers a second concussion in a second consecutive week. I don't think he should have been playing in the Alabama game. That's 2 concussions in 2 consecutive games. He definitely should not be playing in this game coming up. That leaves you with Jarrett Garantano. Of course, the problem with Garantano, other than the fact that he hasn't been very good this year when he played, is the big dust-up he had last week towards the end of the Alabama game. Whether you think he changed the play at the line of scrimmage, and there's some of that going around. Some people think he was supposed to hand the ball off there. There's other people who say, well, no, he was supposed to quarterback sneak it. He just wasn't supposed to jump over the top. He was supposed to go low. But whatever the case, when he came off the field, it was just an absolute, should Jeremy Pruitt have done what he did? I don't know. That kind of stuff used to happen all the time, but I get it. Times change. So I don't know. Maybe he went a little bit overboard with the grabbing of the face mask and yelling at him like that. I don't know. But the point is, I don't see how Garantano, I'm surprised Garantano didn't quit the team after that. Again, not because what I think Pruitt did was necessarily the worst thing in the world to do, but it's embarrassing. He embarrassed Garantano on national TV there. And I just don't know if that relationship can be prepared. With Marr out with a concussion, you're looking at either playing Garantano or JT Shrout, who has next to no playing time at all. Either one of those scenarios, whether they go with Garantano, whether they go with Shrout, or whether they go with some combination of the two, I don't think adds up to a win for Tennessee this week. I think South Carolina will get the road win. I think they're riding some confidence from that win over Georgia. They played Florida really close for about 3 to 3.5 quarters. Florida did pull away in the end. The referees, whatever, that's not the point here. I've already talked about that. The point is Florida pulled away in the end. You can argue the reasoning all you want to, but that's what happened. But anyway, I think South Carolina's riding a little bit of momentum off that win against Georgia and competing at least with Florida for 3 to 3.5 quarters. Tennessee reeling. I know they got the win over Mississippi State a couple of weeks ago, but like I said, took a beating this past weekend to Alabama in a physical game. Regardless of what the score ends up being in an Alabama game, regardless of the fact that Alabama has basically turned into more of a finesse team offensively, at least, it's still a physical game every time you play Alabama. I think Tennessee will be a little beat up in this game, and like I said, the quarterback situation at Tennessee just scares the hell out of me if I'm a Tennessee fan right now until Maher comes back. I'm not comfortable with JG, even in the perfect of circumstances, and circumstances are far from perfect right now for JG Garantano between him and Pruitt. I just think it's a toxic situation there, and JT Shrout next to no experience at all. I just think that's a recipe for a loss this weekend at Tennessee. I think South Carolina wins, keeping their Slim Bowl chances alive, right? Give me the visiting team, South Carolina, lay those 4 points. Arkansas at Alabama. Alabama's a 32-point favorite in this one, 7 o'clock over on ESPN. This game will be a massacre. I know the Pineapple's not playing. Tua Tagovailoa's out with the top secret ankle surgery that he had. Again, second time he's had this surgery. It's not going to matter against Arkansas. Now, we'll see how quick Tua can get back, because I do think it will matter against some teams down the road, right? LSU, Auburn, if Alabama wins the West, an SEC championship game against either Georgia or Florida, whoever comes out of the East there. They're going to need him back at some point, I think. Mac Jones, he said, I don't care how high you might be on Mac Jones if you're an Alabama fan, he's no Tua. And in fact, I don't think he's anywhere near or anywhere close. Alabama is probably going to lose a game or two if Tua can't come back, in my opinion. We'll see if that ends up happening or not. I don't know. But it won't be this game. They will absolutely roll over Arkansas. Arkansas has just been a terrible team. They've been just an utter disappointment. I know Chad Morris came in last season and had to totally revamp that offense from what Brett Bielema was doing. But they just don't have the talent. They don't have the X's and O's. They don't have the players up front. They don't have the players on the back end. They just can't compete with an Alabama. It's another home game for Bama. It's another night game. They'll be excited about their dollar store light show that they get to show off that they copied from UGA. UGA has the real version. Alabama has a dumbed down, cheap, thrifted, Goodwill, Big Lots version of the light show. If you didn't see it last week, watch it this week. It's absolutely hilarious. It looks like, you remember Alabama's been talking about these lights ever since Georgia got them and how they can't wait to have a night game so they can do theirs. You guys seen the movie Christmas Vacation where Clark hypes up his light show so much he makes everybody come outside to look at it. He gets the 2 cords and he goes to plug them in, and what happens? Nothing. That's basically Alabama's light show in a nutshell. But regardless of the light show, regardless of Tua being out, Alabama will roll in this game. I bet you Alabama has 300 yards rushing in this game. Give me Alabama, lay the 32. All right, the last SEC game is Mizzou on the road at Kentucky. Mizzou's a 10-point road favorite, and this one, it comes on 7:30 on the SEC Network. I like Mizzou here. I know they lost to Vandy last week, but Mizzou's been a weird team, and motivation is an issue with Missouri because, of course, they're on a bowl ban and a postseason ban. So they have a regular season and nothing beyond that, no matter what their record ends up being. So you see them go out week 1 and lose to something called Wyoming. Then you see them go on sort of a tear and win 4, 5, 6 games in a row. They're sitting there at 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. Then they play the worst team in the SEC East, Vandy, last week, and lose. This week, I think they're going to look like they did the other parts of the season and roll against just a beat-up Kentucky team. They're playing wide receivers at quarterback. They have absolutely no offense at all. Kentucky, just zero. I think they completed 1 pass last week against the University of Georgia. And if you look at recent history, Kentucky always loses the week after they play Georgia. It just always happens. Georgia beats Kentucky twice every single year. It's just the sun rises in the east, the sun sets in the west. Kentucky is going to lose the week after they play Georgia. Is 10 points too much? I think 10 points is about right. But like I said, I'm gonna roll the dice here. I'm gonna expect Mizzou to do a turnaround from last week's game at Vandy and look more like the team they looked like between weeks 2 and weeks 7. Right? I'm gonna take the road team here in Missouri and lay those 10 points. All right, that's it. That's all the SEC games for this week. I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget, we'll do this same thing tomorrow, but with top 25 teams. And then on Thursday, I'm going to do a third video where I talk about teams that didn't fit into either of the other two videos. So non-SEC teams and non-top 25 teams. That'll be on Thursday. Live show schedule for this week. Tonight, Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. The call-in show. We do that show Tuesday night at 10, Thursday night at 10, Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Wednesday and Friday morning, we'll have the morning show this week. So tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., the Uncle Lou morning show. Friday morning, 8 a.m., the Uncle Lou morning show. All of those shows, the night shows and the Saturday morning shows are call-in shows, okay? So Tuesday night, Thursday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, call-in show. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, call-in show. The morning shows, which we just started this week, those are not a call-in show. I may add the call-ins to that show at some point down the road, but as for now, that's not what they are. But check the morning show out. We did one on Monday. It was great. I had a great time. Way more people showed up to watch the morning show than I thought would, considering it was the first time I'd ever done it. We had almost 400 people in there watching. Of course, I'm an idiot, and I accidentally deleted the video yesterday afternoon trying to do 5 things at once out here on the computer and my cell phone and just doing a bunch of things. And I've never done that before. It's the first time I've ever deleted a video off my channel. It was a complete accident. And it really pisses me off because that was the first ever morning show, and I thought it went really well. But anyway, we'll do it again tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., and again Friday morning at 8 a.m. All right, I appreciate all you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll see you again real soon. Have a good morning.